Hey, how the devil are you? Okay, if you've been following this channel for the last 12 to 18 months, you'll know in some videos I've been trying to build my own hi-fi and things like our AV system. If you haven't and your first time here, then welcome. But yeah, so the last 12 to 18 months I've been, trying to build my hi-fi cinema surround system up. And I think I've learned a few things on the way. Once you go down the rabbit hole, you can start spending a bit too much money. And I learned that the hard way. So initially I started buying things new, and then I realized then, try and look for things used or secondhand. And it worked. I picked up some really good bargains and top, really good equipment for a lot less than what I would have paid for them new. But obviously, if you're buying things used, you've got to make sure that you are tenacious and you have to be patient. You know, what I was doing was looking on these selling websites every day, trying to see if what I wanted was on there. When it wasn't, I just waited and waited and waited. And as soon as I'd seen something, I was like, is this still for sale? Straight away, you got to get straight in. And obviously be willing to travel a little bit as well to get these things. It was hard last year with all these lockdowns, but I managed to get a lot of things here. For this, I think I went was about 40 miles away. But yeah, you've got to be prepared to travel, and you can pick up some really good deals and good bargains if you look around. So what I want to do is go through what I've done, I've managed to keep it under £1,000 so far, which is pretty good for the equipment I've got. And I just wanted to go through it today to show you what I've got and what it's like. And also, I'll post all the reviews I've done in these in the description box below, so you can check them out for yourself for the full reviews of all the things I've got. Anyway, so let's start with this. So this is the Audio-Technica LP3 turntable. Now, most of the stuff I bought is actually randomly, most of it is 5-star rated on What Hi-Fi. I do look at What Hi-Fi. They are pretty good, not all the time, but they are pretty good on their ratings. They haven't steered me wrong yet. And this is a decent budget turntable. It's cost around £200 to buy, but I did get this in a sale for £150. However, I did change the cartridge in it to the VM95E, which is a slightly better cartridge, which cost I think 35 or 40 pounds. So that did have to, factor that into my budget. So all in all, that cost me about 190 quid with the new cartridge, which is pretty good because the new cartridge did make a difference. And for the price of it, it sounds very good. Really happy with it. Then I bought, what did I get next? Oh, I got these Wharfedale 12.1s. Wharfedale Diamond 12.1s. And again, these are rated 5-star on What Hi-Fi. Really good bookshelf speakers. They come with a 5-inch driver, 1-inch textile tweeter. Really good sound on them. Again, they were 250 quid for the price they are, for that price point. I don't think you can get much better really. They've got a little bit of competition, but very good speaker. The only regret I may have had, I'm not sure, I'm umming and ahhing whether I should have got some floor standing tower speakers. I don't know whether I should or not, because they take up pretty much the same space if you get them. If I got the 12.3s or the 12.4s, because you still got to put them on a speaker stand. You don't want to put them on a shelf, do you? So they're taking up pretty much the same space, and you do get a bit of a deeper bass on it. So maybe looking back at it, maybe I would have gone for a floor standing, and I may get some in the future, but I won't buy them new. I'll wait another year or so until people start selling them second hand. Okay, so yeah, very good speaker. Then what did I get next? Then I thought, oh, that's what it was. So I thought, there's something missing. There's something not quite right. I need something with a bit more. Just seems, even though they're really good speakers and they got, for the size that they are, they put out some decent bass, but then really low ends you just don't get. So I looked around, looked at What Hi-Fi again, 5-star reviewed, and I got this one here. This is a 10-inch sub, the Wharfedale SW150 Diamond. It's been around for years, this one has, but it was rated 5 stars on What HiFi, and I picked this up for 150 quid. I think they were selling for 250 when they first came out, but they've come down in price over the years. And I got to say, even though it's, you know, an older model, it works pretty damn good. Okay, the bass is nice and tight. It's not too wobbly. You know, some people like that bass, but I don't like that bass. Okay, what was that? I don't know. So yeah, it gives a nice tight deep bass. Obviously it's a 10-inch sub, it's not going to give the really massive lows, but it serves its purpose for me perfectly, and I'm really happy with that. So then I did have a Cambridge audio amp, which I bought second-hand for £35. But what I wanted was something that I can listen to music with and get good sound from my television with, all in one. And plus the Cambridge amp didn't have a sub out or anything like that. I had to connect it to the speaker cables. It's a bit fiddly, so I wanted to get something better. When I was looking around for AV receivers, some of them are pretty expensive if you want a really good one. And then I went searching every day, and I found this. This is a Yamaha RX V581, and then now this again was 5-star rated on What HiFi. I happened to see it for sale in Facebook Marketplace. Then I Googled it, and I seen this 5-star review, and I picked this up for 180 quid. Woohoo! Now I think the guy was trying to tuck me right up, because when I got it, it was really quiet, and I was like, oh no, I've bought a dud. Oh, he's probably turned me over here. But then I thought you can factory reset these, because I was wondering why I got it so cheap. It's a really top spec. It's a really good AV receiver. So I factory reset it, and boom, all sorted. So maybe it went into some sort of sleep mode or something, a protection mode. Maybe he overpowered it or something. He playing the speakers too loud or something like that, overheated, and it went into protection mode. Just reset it, and it worked perfectly. So in your face, sucker. So anyway, I bought it for 180 quid. It's only about 5 years old, I think, 4 or 5 years old. And when they first came out, they were £550. So I got a really good deal on that. And really, again, it's very good. So it's Dolby Atmos 7.2, I think you can have on it. So you can put in 2 subs. So if you want to have Dolby Atmos, you can. Just need to get the speakers for it, but there you go. Yeah, it's got everything. It's got an app on your phone, which you can, you know, music cast to it. It has internet radio, Bluetooth, so everything you need is in it, really. Really good amplifier, so very pleased. The only thing I will say, with a HiFi amp and an AV receiver, they can be a little bit fiddly to get right until you've got to fiddle around with it a lot to get the way you like it, because I like to have it sounding good for not just movies, but for music as well. And this does the job, because some AV receivers can be a bit ropey when it comes to music. Great with movies, but not so good with music. So you've got to, you know, look at reviews, look at what people are saying about them, and how good they are with music. My next buy was the Sony UPB X700 4K Blu-ray player. Now, you may ask, why did I want to get a 4K Blu-ray player when you can stream 4K movies? But I will say, a 4K movie on this is much better. At the moment, it's much better than a stream 4K movie. That comes with the picture and sound. But also, I wanted something to play CDs, and this does it really good. Does it very well. And also, this plays SACDs. Now, I did say when I reviewed this, I was going to do a comparison between an SACD and a normal CD to see if I can see any discernible difference between the two. But I didn't have an SACD. But I've actually I've actually got an SACD, and obviously this is in DSD format 5.1. So I am going to do a video on this very soon, so look out for that, and I will compare the two and see if I can get it to play through that receiver. So yeah, now this is still retailing for £200. It was about £250 when it first came out. Now it's down to about 200, and I got it for, wait for it, 70 quid, £70. And again, see, it pays off if you keep looking. And it keeps searching every day and looking on these selling sites, you come up with a bargain. And obviously you do a little bit of, you know, a bit of bartering and a bit of back and forth and whatever. Will you accept this? Will you accept that? They come back with something else and you get a good 70 pounds, 70, that's 70 pounds, 70, okay? Like, wow. So really, really good deal on that. And then my last buy, my most recent buy, was this Acoustic Energy A-Lite centre speaker. Now when this came out, I think it's over 10 years ago now, but this is a really good speaker in its day, and if you wanted to buy it new when it came out, it was £300. And I got it for 60 quid. Now I waited, this is another little trick I do, so I wasn't sure if I wanted to buy it or not. So sometimes if I think a speaker, I'll just wait and wait and wait. So this was up for about £90 or 85 or £90 initially. Then I waited and waited for about a week or two, and then all of a sudden, then they put the price down to I think £65. So I offered him 60, he accepted, whoop. Now, even though I didn't have to, I did have to make a slight repair to this speaker. It wasn't necessary, it's only a minor repair, but there was something wobbling around in there. And the guy told me, oh, what it is, the kids put a toy in the bass port at the back, and it's rattling around, but I couldn't get it out. And I was like, sounds a bit sus to me. But anyway, I brought it home, and really you don't want something rattling around in there. But I played it, it sounded fine. It was nothing wrong with it at all. I could have left it as it was, but I just couldn't. I had to have a look in there to see what was rattling around. So I took the front speaker off here, and what had happened is the coil had come away from its fixings. And all I had to do was repair the coil, put it back on, job done, put it all back together, working fine. And again, if you want to see the full review of that and me taking it apart, putting it back together, you can see it in the description box below. Okay, so there you go. And what does that all come to? Well, that's 900 quid. It's quite a lot of money. When you're spending that money bit by bit over about, 18 months, it's not so bad. And to get a system like this for £900, I think is pretty good, in my opinion. But I know what some of you are thinking. No, hang on a minute, you haven't kept it under £1,000. No, you haven't, because what about the TV cab, the HiFi cabinet? You must have spent money on that. Well, let me tell you. Hang on. Now, this is an Alpherson Finewood. Really good HiFi sort of TV cabinet, very well made. It's obviously made so you don't get any resonance through the cabinet or anything like that. Really, really thick, solid MDF. And I got it for the fantastic price of zero. Absolutely not zip, nada, note. Okay, nothing. Because this is mad. So they initially had it up for around, I think, £100 or £90 or something like that. And they had it, they were moving house or doing up the house or whatever, and nobody wanted to buy it. It was up for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I happened to come along at the right time, and they dropped the price to zero because they wanted to get rid of it. I was like, what? No one wanted to buy it. So I messaged them saying, is this correct? Because some people, they go, there's nothing. And then when you message them, it's like, oh yeah, it's actually £400. Get out of it. Don't tell me that. Don't put a note on it and then tell me it's 400 quid. Yeah. So, yeah. So I messaged them to make sure, is this really nothing? And they explained to me that they couldn't get rid of it. They just want it out of the house. It's in the way. They just want it gone. So I jumped in the car and off I drove, picked it up, brought it home, and there it is. Now these are retailing still for 220 quid, £225. What? So I saved myself £225. So going back to what I was saying, in future, if I'm going to buy anything else to go with it, maybe some extra speakers, more surround sound speakers for the back, maybe I'll go and do Atmos and put them here somewhere. I'm not going to buy anything new anymore. I'm going all for used or second hand, because you can save so much money and you get better stuff for your money. Okay, I could have bought maybe a centre speaker for 150 quid brand new, but it wouldn't be as good as this one. No chance, not a chance in hell. So use is the way forward. You can save a lot of money and get some really, really good equipment. And to me, this sounds fantastic for music and film. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, me talking about my pride and joy. I know it's not, you know, audiophile £10,000 system, but for me, it sounds very, very good. I'm really happy with it. And, you know, considering the amount of money I spent, it's extremely good. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm blabbing on now because I'm so happy with my system. I can go on for ages. I'll see you in the next video.